Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Recon, I'm taking a look at Carrier Battle Group Solitaire, Deluxe Edition, designed by Joseph Miranda and published by Decision Games. Alright, so this is the Deluxe Edition of a game that was originally published in Modern War Magazine number 14 back in 2014. So when I saw this one was in the pipeline at Decision Games, I said, I gotta get my hands on it, and I pre-ordered it, and here we go. It just shipped, it just came out within the last couple weeks. Depending when you see this video, maybe within the last month or so. All right, Carrier Battle Group Solitaire. Do I need to say it's a solitaire game? I don't think so. All right, Deluxe Edition. Decision Games has been making a lot of Deluxe Editions lately, taking magazine games, turning them into games with mounted maps, things like that. So, nice, thick, heavy box here. Take a look at it. They redesigned the main map. I don't know if the counter's redesigned or not. I'm not sure. I know the map has been redone. Look at the back here. All right, so in Carrier Battle Group Solitaire, you are in command of a U.S. Navy carrier task force in the North Atlantic, operating against the Soviet fleet during the 1980s at the height of the Cold War. As the commander of a carrier task force, you must complete various objectives in the North Sea, facing Soviet naval and air opposition. As the Cold War goes hot, you may be called upon to secure the Denmark Strait, support special operations in the Arctic, attack a Soviet naval base in Murmansk, escort reinforcements to NATO's northern flank in Norway, conduct a joint amphibious landing behind Warsaw Pact lines in the Baltic, provide air support over the Central Front in West Germany, even hunt for a rogue Soviet nuclear ballistic missile submarine. All right. Oh, it is new counter as well. So new map and new counter artwork, updated rules, new player aid cards, and a campaign analysis article. Beautiful. You know what? Let's go ahead and open her up. What are we doing here? Talking about the game, watching little videos. Let's go ahead and open her up, see what we got. By the way, I do film in 4K, so if there's anything that you want to see in high quality, you can always pause it. Make sure you're watching in 4K though. Check the icon in the bottom right, click on 4K. You can even click larger than your display is, and at least makes it look higher quality, even if you're looking at it at a smaller resolution. All right, couple D6 dice, a couple baggies for your counters. All right. The rule book here. So the rule book is going to be, I believe, around 16 pages for the actual game rules. However, it is a total of 30 or so. Yep, 31 pages. But that includes that campaign analysis, which, again, that's what Decision Games has been doing with their deluxe editions, which I really appreciate. So looking at the front here, it is in full color, of course. It's going to be 3 columns, just like they like to do. So you can see here in the contents. Again, you can pause it if you want to kind of get an idea of what's in the game here, but looks like about 13 pages through the actual rules. Optional rules, 14 to 16, and then starting on page 18 is going to be that historical article covering U.S. carrier battle groups during and since the 1980s. You're getting, again, full color. You can see, you know, the units, quite a bit of iconography on the units, but obviously we're talking about a lot of different aspects, right? Anti-air, anti-surface, anti-sub, electronic warfare rating, their defense or speed, set as an Aegis cruiser here. NATO and Soviet units. Example in blue, exceptions and difference in red. Is any errata? I haven't seen anything in here. There shouldn't be any errata in here. At least that's noted in the rules. Should have been fixed for the deluxe edition. But as usual with my recons, I'm not trying to teach you the game, although I will talk about this one a little bit, as I do. It is a unboxing and preview. And then I did want to note, because I saw some stuff online, people having questions about combat here. So if you skip to page 16, you get some examples of combat and different pictures along with text going with it. So people who have questions about combat can refer to that. And then again, it gets into some history and some information on it. So beautiful. Love that. All right. All right, so we have the player aid cards, and we'll look at the counters and the map. So 3 packs, right? 3 player aid cards. They are double-sided each one. Just a nice card stock, right? You have, so this would be the mission orders table. So this is at the beginning of your game, right? It's generally going to be campaign, or excuse me, a scenario based. You can also have, there's rules for campaign, but scenario based, right? You're going to be drawing a random, and we can look at the counters, we can see them, but you're drawing one of these missions from a cup. And this is, so you'll have a random mission, and it'll tell you what you're going to do. As those things I described as I was talking at the very beginning, reading from the back of the actual box itself. So, and along that, it'll be the different attack routes, which are then colored. We'll see that on the map in a second. How many games turns, what your objective is, bonus for winning in a campaign game, etc. So different rules for that. Here's going to be just various charts, right? Soviet for the alert level, target priorities, the Soviet firing sequence. Obviously, you're playing as the NATO forces. The system manages the Soviets, and then different charts for you as well, your side of it. Again, some more charts and tables here. So it looks like, let's see, what would it be? USN cargo table, repair table. So telling you different ways, different things, keeping out of the rule book, right, and just playing the game. Incident markers, so each turn, depending on what's happened on the board and in on the route, you're going to be drawing a certain number of incident markers. Also, depending on the Soviet alert level, you'll be drawing a certain number of incident markers. So things like suffering an ambush, intel from headquarters, countering a minefield, morale check, or maybe quiet seas, no effect. So a whole variety here of different things that can happen. And finally, we have, so you have a hit table, seed, so suppression of enemy air defenses, contact table, and then on the front here, game term sequence of play. That one's going to be key one for me for sure. Victory point table, and then looks like certain actions corresponding to, okay, so you're losing units, bad things to you, or bad things to the Soviets. That'll help you, so. All right, let's look at the counters here. This is where that 4K can really come in handy. Anytime you want to pause it, you should really get a good view. So let's look at them. Top level, obviously, U.S. Navy, right? NATO in blue, Soviets in red. Very busy, a lot going on. But when you go look up close, I think they're pretty easy to see. And of course, it is double-sided. Not individually punched, right? You're going to have little corners on them and all. I do kind of wish decision games as they get into the deluxe would maybe transition, especially these one counter sheet games, just transition to individually die cut. That may be a pipe dream, but we can always wish, right? All right. So zooming in a bit, taking a look at some of these. So you generally in the game will play as the Nimitz and its task force, right? It's Carrier Battle Group. The Forstall CV-59 is in the game, sort of optional. If you want to use it, there's some optional rules. There's a bunch of optional rules actually in this game. Obviously, you're seeing just the different types of naval units. Again, aircraft. You don't have the names of them on there, but the back of the rule book, does have a nice handy chart. Let's look at that quick. So you can see different USN warships, USN aircraft and missiles, land-based aircraft, missiles, and then the Soviets as well. So if you have an idea of, for instance, I was looking at, I couldn't quite figure out what the Yak-38 Forger was. And when I saw it on here, I was like, what is that one? I was like, oh, it's the Yak-38. And I did a little research on it and said, oh, interesting. Not an expert on 1980s Soviet aircraft, but I learned a little bit more. That's the wonderful thing about war games, right? So here you have those incident, right? So you see incident on the back here. So these are the chits going to be drawing X number per turn. Here's those missions, right? You're drawing from to say, hey, what's your mission going to be? I mean, you can pick whatever you want if you want, or you can say, because I would definitely want to do the hunt for the Red October. Oh, I'm sorry, hunt for Typhoon. But you can also do randomly. All right. And then you'll have some ratings for your ship itself. So, okay, looks good there. Let's get this map set up. So it is a full mounted map, and it comes in plastic bag, which I really like. Keep it a little protected. So let's go ahead and do a little magic, and we'll get the map set up. All right, here's the map all set up. Like I said, it is a full mounted map, right? Very nice, wrapped, thick, good, nice, high quality mounted map. So with the deluxe editions, again, Decision Games doing a great job with that. Graphics, I love the look of it. I think it's really good. You have sort of more of a real geography, right? But then you have very clean out in the ocean where you're going to have the routes, the paths that the naval units are taking. I see the Deluxe Edition map graphics, Todd Davis. Original map graphics, Joe Eust. Joe Eust does a great job in a lot of his maps. Some of the magazine ones, though, are very plain, right? It's a very simple look. So I like the little extra graphical sort of effort and design put into this one, while still looks like it should be very, very playable. All right, so looking at the entire map here, we have the different battle groups for Soviets. We have holding boxes, right? Same with USN, sunk, destroyed, ships crippled over here. And then you have the US holding boxes for your Carrier Battle Group, right? 1, and then 2 if you use Forstall. Top right, the terrain key, different types of terrain, box for scenario orders, missions completed, and then Soviet alert level. That's going to be very important in the game. Going back to the right side, the bottom right, ship display. So those are those where the ratings are, right, for your leadership, CAG leadership, or CIC flight deck, hangar, air defense weapons, etc. Going all the way down, keeping track of ammo as well, and fuel. Let's see, logistics victory points in the bottom left. Sample unit readouts, just give you a reminder, which I do really like, because like I said, there's a lot of numbers on here, right? A lot of numbers and symbology. So it's nice to see that here on the map itself. Turn record track, of course, and here you have the play area. So within the play area, oh, and then a tactical display for the combat. You do outer zone and then inner zone type combat. So, to show you want to have, U.S. especially was saying, hey, let's try to intercept the Soviets and their aircraft, missiles, ships, etc. in the outer zone or much earlier, and then finally, in the inner zone, there's still going to be combat if there's any remaining units. This game is, I wouldn't call it Stasis Siege at all, but it has that similar, there's tracks, right? So we had talked about the different missions, and on the player aid card, it has different colors, right? Well, these are the colored routes on the map, right? Whether it is red, white, green, yellow, etc. And you are starting down here, if you look at the bottom center, United Kingdom. And generally speaking, you're going to be traveling on one of these routes, going till you get to your objective, which you can see top right terrain key triangle, the black triangle. So say you're taking here the orange route, right? You're heading east, heading through the North Sea, the Baltic Sea. You have different areas here, and then boom, you get to the objective, and then hopefully you complete your objective there. The squares, the boxes, those are going to be where choke points are. You have to stop at those choke points, right? So you can't just flow really fast, because the carriers can move pretty quick in the game, and in general, right? So you have to stop at those. And yeah, so you're going to have a route, generally speaking, you're going to want to go on. The Soviets are going to be traveling on that route towards you, launch a missile at each other, revealing, attacking. You're trying to survive, knock out their ships, get your objective, complete your objective. So I'm excited for this one. I really am. Carrier Battle Group Solitaire Deluxe Edition. If you played the magazine game, let me know. I'm excited to see what the changes, clarifications, and such in this edition of it. I think it looks really good, really clean, but also got some fun to it. I like the look of it. So yeah, Carrier Battle Group Solitaire, Joseph Miranda, Decision Games, Solitaire war game. World War III gone hot, Cold War gone hot. You can't argue with that. So let me know anything in the comments below, what you think about it. Otherwise, if you made it this far, sure appreciate the subscription. Just click the button and a thumbs up if you liked the video. Otherwise, just comment below and let me know what you think. So until next time, guys, later.